Welcome, folks. So this is Euro USD. So today we had two setups. So the first setup was on, we had these the sweep of these relative equal lows right here, right there at exactly 2. We had that sweep, and then we were to buy from this low up to these highs, and eventually we traded into this fair value gap. It's an inversion fair value gap. So we traded into that at 2:45 right before London Open. So during London Open, we went back up again, hit that inversion fair value gap. Then now we had this sell-off. So the drawn liquidity was this low right here. So we had this low being the drawn liquidity, or the midpoint of this week. So that was the drawn liquidity. Also on a daily chart, if you head over to the daily chart, we had a fair value gap. So we had these fair value gap right here, that low. So we had that fair value gap. So that was the drawn liquidity, and we only hit the upper end of that the daily fair value gap. So we had that. That was the draw on liquidity. So if we head over back to the 15-minute chart, so as you can see, we only hit the upper portion of the daily fair value gap. So we had this as our target, and also we had this as our target. So the target on a big time frame fair value gap, like the daily fair value gap, you ought to divide this by 3. So you have to divide this upper half by 2, get the midpoint of the upper half, and then you divide the lower half to get now the two halves. So this was the draw. As you can see, we hit that. Also, we hit the midpoint of that week. That was the draw. So we're going to go into the 1-minute chart and see how these entries would have been, you could have capitalized on the same. So head over to the 1-minute chart. So these were the trades. So we had there was a very little fair value gap right here. Let me mark that. We had a very it was very small. We had that fair value gap right there. So after we took these relative equal lows right here at 220, we had a shift in market structure. As you can see, here is a swing high, the first swing high. We also have this as a second swing high. it also left us a fair value gap, which we later came in, traded into. So this would have been your entry long. That, and then your stop be below that low, like that, and you could be aiming for these, the midpoint of these inversion fair value gap. So that would have been a 5.52 hour trade during the London Open kill zone. So we traded into that. Also, we had this shift in market structure right there. As you can see, we took that low right there, and then we later came in, traded into this fair value gap. So this was London had already opened, so we came all the way back into this fair value gap, which is at a premium level. We again hit the lower end of these inversion fair value gap. So if we take our fib, anchor it to that low, the midpoint, that efficiency, as you can see, we hit the midpoint of the lower half, which is algorithmic. So price will always not necessarily, but will always revisit the lower half of that the inefficiency. So we traded into that, the midpoint of that, the old fair value gap right there. Then we had this now the sell. So the other way that you could have framed those entries would have been, you see here we have this gap, and also here we have that gap. So this would have been an inversion fair value gap. So you could have used it right here, or else just go short inside the inversion fair value gap right here, and then placing a stop just above this high, or just above the midpoint of this fair value gap. So that would have been your entry right there. Stop, place your stop, place your stop just above that that high, or the lower or the upper end of the fair value gap. And then the draw would have been, we had these we had that low right there. So that would have been 27.12 hour trade, which you could have nailed right there. And if your targets were the upper half of these fair value gap, that would have been 32.82 hour. So as you can see, it was quite a bearish day. So we traded that. That was it. That was it for euro. It was quite a fruitful day, as you can see. So that was a total of, if we had this being 32, then this being that's a total of 37 or 38 hour. So that was enough for today. Maybe unless you guys have anything that you'd like me to share, just put it in the comments. I'll get back to you, if it means getting back to you in person, or replying to you using a video or an example of a video. So that was it for today, and until I talk to you next time, be safe.